Welcome to the Active SGV podcast, ActiveLabs. I'm your host, Andrea, and today we have a very special guest with us. We are honoring our Noche's Outstanding City Staff Member 2024, Stephen Mateer. Thank you, Stephen, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So give us a little background on yourself and how you started working with the City of Glendora.
Sure, happy to. So I'm the transportation manager for the City of Glendora. My job there is overseeing our transit fleet, which is our dial ride and fixed route service, and we also do our bike and pedestrian programs. And lastly, we have a TDM program for our employees where we encourage them to walk, bike, carpool to work every day. So,
that's great. Yeah.
Our division is very small, but we have quite a big portfolio. So every day is kind of an adventure in a good way.
Yeah.
I've been there almost 6 years now, and I really come to love it. I came from Metro before that, so going from this massive organization down to a tiny little city is great because we get to be hands-on.
Totally.
With every project.
Yeah,
that we
and
do.
you can definitely see the impact when it's at a city level versus such a large.
Yes, things
broad.
take decades at Metro, whereas things can happen, in months or very quick time frame. And it's also great to just be out there working with our street crews to do quick builds, assemble parklet decks during COVID. So it's been great to touch kind of every aspect of a project.
And you've always been in transportation since you came from Metro?
Yes.
Like you've just straight out of school?
Yeah, so I went to, funny, I was in college for urban planning. I did not want to do transportation. I wanted to do economic development, but there was the Great Recession, and that really was not a growth sector in our field.
Right.
So I kind of fell into transportation, and I love it. I've been doing it for 13 years now professionally.
Yeah.
And it's great to see the impact it has because it does touch everyone's lives, whether they're aware of it or not, and to help not only that part of it, but also the sustainability, equity.
Right.
It really is very rewarding field to be in.
Yeah, I think that's, it's definitely, it's something that I think most of LA, not that it lacks because there is a lot of but it's kind of connecting community to the actual transportation.
Absolutely.
And like making it efficient for everybody. And then like you said, seeing the impact and seeing how it really can benefit the community, like both sustainably and also in their everyday life, just being able to access certain places in town.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in San Dimas, and so I'm.
Oh, okay. So you're an SGV local.
Yeah, I'm very used to being driven everywhere when I was a kid, and kind of going only so far as maybe your bike could carry you.
Right.
And it really wasn't until college where I was able to take transit around and experience kind of the amount of the city you can access and see different things.
Yeah.
And so that was really eye-opening for me.
Yeah, there's a whole, I feel like the city really opens up once you start taking public transportation because, as you said, driving everywhere, especially even though you're driving from city to city, you're still very focused on you and your space and what's around you versus when you're on a train or a bus. I don't know, I feel like I'm a lot more aware of all the things that I'm seeing and all the things that are happening around me, and kind of just, you get a little better in touch with the city and your community.
Yes,
I think it's super important, and hopefully in the next couple of years, more cities kind of take on the initiatives that Glendora has been taking and start to kind of like expand their programs and stuff so that people can take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what projects are you most proud of thus far with your time at Glendora?
Yeah, so I think there's two that really stand out to me in my time there. Our first one is during COVID, one of the few cities that implemented outdoor dining, kind of just really quickly. And part of that was we closed down a street in our downtown. At first that was really just a place for people to eat outside.
Yeah.
And based on the feedback we got, we were kind of had this idea of, well, what if we turn that into a new plaza and a new park space in our downtown?
Wow.
And we worked with we're Active SGV and the SGV COG to help fund a demonstration project where we bought some furniture, kind of arrange it in a very casual manner. And that was great to see people utilizing it for more than just outdoor dining. It really became a gathering point, and that led us to implementing about $1 million project to permanently close two parts of a street in our downtown, put things like a fire pit in the middle of the street.
Wow.
We have mini golf, furniture, landscaping, giant chess, which has been a huge,
That's cool.
huge fun thing for people to see. And it was very interesting to see, in a town like Glendora, which people wouldn't necessarily normally think of as being open to closing down streets, it really changed the conversation about what streets can be used for. And same with our parklets.
Yeah.
That really showed people that losing a little bit of road capacity results in greater things, either for economic activity, socialization.
Right.
The other thing I'm particularly proud of is we're one of the first cities to move towards zero emission for our transit fleet.
Oh, wow.
And we have put in operation 2 battery electric buses, and we just got a grant, which we're going to be going to council tonight to execute, to buy another 2, which means for our fixture outside will be 100% zero emission.
Wow, that's...
Which is quite an achievement for a small city.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And it's just very rewarding to work on projects like that.
Yeah, something you mentioned a little bit before is, did you find that there was, I know it changed the conversation around streets and what they could be used for, but did you find that there was a lot of pushback at first, or did you find the community was really receptive to changing the space and closing the streets?
No, it's a great question. So one of my favorite stories I like to tell about this with the parklets is in 2018 we did a demonstration parklet as part of the Go Human campaign and with the SGV COG. And the coffee shop, we were like, hey, could we do a parklet in front of your store? And he's like, fine, but I'm not really into losing park. And it was also when the road was closed, so it really wasn't a big deal.
Right.
After the event, he was like, that was great, but we're not talking about this again. Like, no way am I going to give up parking space in front of my store. Well, little did we know, about 5 months later, COVID was, descended upon us, and all of a sudden we couldn't eat indoors. And so our economic development team, Public Works, us, we got together and we put out these, very quick build parklets. And the response, not just from that particular coffee shop, but from all the restaurants was, not only are these amazing, but we're having some of the best years we've ever had.
Yeah.
Because people are outside, they're, it's kind of a seen and be seen. And so that very same coffee owner, as soon as we put in the permanent parklets, was like, I'll admit I was wrong. This was the best thing you've ever done for us, and we, they were so appreciative of it. And I think, people seeing that, that there is always trade-offs in life, but sometimes those trade-offs are worth it.
Right.
And and actually with our Meet Up at Plaza project, I was even more surprised that people were very receptive to closing a street and to spending money on, painting it, putting in all this furniture, and really making it a great gathering space.
I think when people, you truly turned it into like a true third space for the community. And I think that once people see it in action, and obviously, something like the pandemic is, a very difficult thing, and it was a really hard moment in our entire world and society. But there are little silver linings in a situation like that, and it kind of like forced everyone to kind of reevaluate and restructure the way they look at street or the city or how they can use something and use a space. And so, that's great. It's a really I think that's a really awesome sort of just showing in practice what it can be, and then hopefully inspiring another generation to continue that work and continue doing that.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Are there any future projects that you're excited about that you can share?
Yeah, so we're in design right now on a couple first last mile projects, as well as what are called urban trail projects. Those are our Class 1 bike trails on our flood control channels. Hopefully we'll be under construction next year on a 1.5 mile extension on the San Dimas Wash. And the other 2, the first last mile projects I mentioned, those are going to be really great. This is going to be the first raised protected bike lane in the San Gabriel Valley. And the part that I'm most proud of is our protected intersection.
Yeah.
I think there's only one other city in LA County that has that, Santa Monica obviously being a leader. And so for Glendora to implement something that's of that caliber is going to be really exciting to see.
Yeah.
And hopefully that serves as a model and a template for other cities.
Yeah.
As they build out their connections to their transit system, or in generally making streets safer.
Yeah, that's actually leads me to my next question or point is I feel that Glendora is really a leader, especially in this part of LA County or LA, in sort of you guys are really leading a lot of these positive active changes in terms of transportation and the way that people can use bike lanes and protecting pedestrians and making sure that street safety is at the forefront of everyone's mind.
Yeah. And I think that's we've been able to do so because our council's been very open-minded and has been very invested in road safety, but also economic development opportunities. And part of that is we were very aggressive with doing demonstration projects during COVID and afterwards. One of my favorite ones was a Safe Routes to School demonstration project we did at intersection. And one of our council members, who was mayor at the time, he got to see, oh wow, this is really a safety issue. Yeah. We need to do something about it. Yeah. And that's the kind of attitude our council has had, our city manager. Yeah. They've been very supportive and directing us to go out and you're really designed to the highest level to really push the envelope there.
Yeah. And do you think that there's ways that other cities can kind of use you as a model, use Glendora as a model? Maybe how can community members who want their cities to be like Glendora?
Yeah. No,
what can community members do to kind of activate that?
So I think the first thing we've been really intentional on was our messaging. We really focused not on, okay, we have to do this and you're gonna just go along with the ride. We really asked the community, okay, what do you want your streets to look like? We know the Metro A line is coming. How can we make it easier for you to walk or bike to that station? Right. How can we extend the feel of our village? Everyone loves the Glendora Village. We can do more of that when we have narrower streets and we have a more pedestrian environment. So how can we do that together? And I think that people have really resonated with them. Yeah. As a parent, I want my kid to be able to ride his bike with his friends and not be playing on a screen all day. And so, Glendora is a very family-friendly neighborhood. And so talking with parents about that too, saying, well, we're really designing these facilities so that your kid can use them and that you don't need to worry about them as they bike to school or go hang out with their friends. Yeah. And that's also resonated with them. So I think messaging is really important. We've also been very aggressive with our demonstration projects. I think we've done about 5 or 6, which might seem like a lot, but really that has put these projects, in a way that people can touch and feel them. And so a lot of this, oh, it's going to result in traffic. Oh, I'm going to lose my parking. It goes from a theoretical argument to, oh, maybe it's not so bad.
Totally, dispelling a lot of that. Exactly.
It takes kind of the venom out of it. And one of my favorite anecdotes is we did a demonstration protected bike lane, and everyone was like really fine with it. They were just like, make it look nice. We don't like how rickety it looks. That was great to see that we can do that stuff as long as it looks nice.
Yeah, okay. So that's good. So the community is inspired, but once, like I said, they see it in practice and they're like, oh, it's not going to hinder our business or eliminate, I don't know, parking or whatever it may be.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's really important. And I think, like you said, you guys are really leading, I think, a lot of that change. And I think that's really awesome. I think there's a lot of surrounding neighborhoods and cities that can really learn something from what you all are doing and hopefully implement it in the greater parts of the SGV and LA.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you mentioned that the Metro A line is going to be extending out to Pomona and stopping in Glendora. Yes. So you guys will have a station in Glendora, which is really exciting. How is the city preparing for that, and how do you think residents are going to be using it? Yeah,
so it's a really unique opportunity. I mean, we talk about how it's probably the biggest transportation investment since the freeway was extended through Glendora. And one of the things that we're trying to do is get everyone excited about the train. It's really a great way to get to Pasadena and downtown LA now. Yeah. So I mentioned our first last mile projects. We're really wanting to link our new station with our village. Unfortunately, the way the station's positioned, it's not really obvious how to get to, if you're not from Glendora, how to go from the station to our village. And so part of our first last mile, our goal is to make that a really intuitive connection. The other thing we're doing is we're working on our short-range transit plan right now to reorient our bus service to the A-line station, which will be great because then you can take the bus from there to the Glendora Public Market, which has a great brewery, really good restaurants, and also to our marketplace, which has all of our big box retail in the city, as well as our village. And the other thing,
so there's great access.
Yeah,
all around.
We're really trying to make the access side work. And the other thing our planning department is working on is station visioning. And so looking at what does the zoning need to be to take advantage of that? What are some development opportunities that can go in there? I know Metro's also looking at, potentially some affordable housing in the station area. So it's a really exciting time right now. Lots of activity around the station, and I think we're about maybe 12 months out.
Oh, that's exciting! Yeah,
from opening. So
next summer, it's going to be the summer of trains.
Absolutely.
So it's an easy walk from train to the village?
Yeah, right. It's probably about a 10-15 minute walk.
Oh, yeah, it's super
it's
close.
just the station's kind of behind a bunch of buildings and our post office.
I see.
So we want to make sure that's a really obvious connection.
To kind of get people, Well, you'll have to do some fun activations, I feel like.
Yes.
Creating maybe some kind of, I don't know, fair or festival or something that can show people would be really cool.
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah. Shifting gears a little bit, there is a meme account on Instagram called the Memes of Glendora account that talks about some of the city issues and different things happening around town. Do you all at City Hall folks follow and watch the account?
Oh yes, yeah, we're all big fans.
Oh, you are?
Of the Memes of Glendora
Great.
page. He's really, the person behind the account is, really has his pulse on the community in a lot of really fun ways. I know, we had a big dust up in the community about the amount of peacocks that live in Glendora, and he was right on it. And he covers everything from the beef with Laverne and San Dimas, which. Yeah, I grew up with San Dimas. I was kind of ambivalent to.
Yeah.
I wasn't really aware that's a thing, but apparently it's a thing.
Yeah.
Giving us a hard time about some of our traffic signals is a really popular one.
Yeah.
So, it's great. We all have a good chuckle.
Do you learn take anything away from it? Use it to inform any policy or changes?
He's actually our shadow city mayor, so we always run by. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like,
no.
He's in City Hall.
It's good natured in that I like to joke sometimes it feels like living in a Parks and Rec episode.
For sure.
And it's good to be reminded that we can laugh at ourselves. And, again, it's such a cool community thing that we can all laugh at. Kind of the little nuances and idiosyncrasies of Glendora.
Do you know who the admin?
I do.
Person? You know
yes.
okay.
He actually, his kids go to school with my kids.
Oh, okay.
So it's funny seeing him at the pickup line or drop off time.
Yeah.
It's Glendora is very much a small town. It's like
small
Mayberry.
city. Yeah.
And so we all know each other. It seems
Okay.
like.
Okay. Well, at least like there's positive reinforcement and funny jokes that come along with it. Sometimes, I feel like sometimes memes can go either way. But I think you guys are taking it in stride, and I think that's great.
Yeah, we're public servants at the end of the day, and we're here to serve.
And it's a good way to see what the, if a post goes particularly viral, it's a good way to notice if that is a hot topic on
like
in
traffic
the community.
Signals. We know we got to do better with traffic signals.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a good way to kind of get like community feedback in the comments, even though they probably don't realize they're offering it in the comments.
Yes.
You can look at it and say, oh, okay, this is what people are
It's a new form of
feeling.
outreach.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, that's great. Our Noche's Outstanding City Staff Member Award is an award that goes to somebody who has really advocated and made great change in their community. And so we are so excited to present you this award. How did you feel when you received the call?
I just floored and honored.
Oh.
Active SGV is such a great and important organization for our region, and I've worked with them personally since I started in Glendora. So a lot of Danielle, Ed, Paco, Wes, countless other volunteers. I mean, we were out there together, building out these demo bike lanes, assembling parklets, helping us do outreach at our events, and so to be recognized by your peers just means so much to me. And just personally, the mission of Active SGV, of an equitable transportation system, one that reduces pollution, helps uplift communities, it just is so gratifying to be part of and work with. And so when I was notified, it was just like, oh my God, it's like it's a dream come true kind of thing. And it's just such an honor to be recognized by the organization, and really helps motivate and keep focused on the goal of really improving everyone's lives as much as we can.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all of your work, because without you and your team and the work that you guys do, we also cannot do it without people like you and cities that are as active and as motivated as Glendora. So thank you. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
As we wrap up, is there anything you would like to share with our listeners, or anything you'd like to share upcoming in the Glendora space?
Yeah, just make sure to come out and check us out, especially
Definitely.
the next 2 years when we have a lot of our projects, in the ground. Glendora, it's kind of easy to overlook it because it's a small little foothill community, and I would just invite listeners to come out, check out our great Glendora Village. Our parks are fantastic. We're gonna have trails up to the Angeles National Forest, and so, just come visit us. We'd love to show you around, and just cannot wait to be part of the next chapter out here.
That's exciting. Okay, for our final segment here at the ActiveLabs podcast, we always end with something that we call Office Talk, which is a fun, easy question, something that we're usually talking about in the office at the moment. So, talking about Glendora, talking about outdoor spaces, and kind of taking advantage of the foothill cities.
Yeah.
What is your favorite hiking trail nearby Glendora area?
We have no shortage of outdoor trails, so it's kind of hard, like picking your favorite kid, right?
Yeah.
My favorite one, especially with the little one, is Dalton Canyon.
Okay, yeah.
It's about a mile trail, very easy, kind of weaves through the Dalton, is it Big Dalton or Little Dalton Wash, and so it's nice. It flows pretty much year round. So if you want to take a dip in the stream, you can hop in. It's just a great, easy trail to get some exercise and just get some outdoor time.
Yeah.
There's about 3 other trails in the area that are great depending on how hard you want to work and how much you want to do. But I would say the Dalton Canyon Trail is definitely a favorite.
I like that one a lot too. I've done a couple runs through there.
Oh, cool.
Like little trail runs, and it's pretty easy. It's not like a super intense one. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being part of the ActiveLabs podcast, and we're so excited to honor you this coming Noches.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. If you'd like to find out more information about ActiveSGV, you can follow us on @ActiveSGV on Instagram. And if you'd like to keep up with Glendora and all of the fun things that they have going on, you can also follow @City of Glendora on Instagram as well. And on September 12th, we will be honoring all of our Noches awardees at Noches de las Luminarias. You can purchase tickets with the link in our bio. Bye!